Grigorillagun, and Zendo Kern is absent. I'm not sure where, if he's about to appear. And we'll find out about that. And Councilmember Drew Kanuha and Councilmember Karen Eoff and Councilmember Brenda Ford. And to my immediate left is my Vice Chair, Valerie Poindexter, and I'm the chair of this committee. So welcome today. And I don't know if someone knows about Zendo. Is he going to, what's happened?
Madam Chair.
To Zendo? Yes?
He's on his way. He'll be here.
He's on his way. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, we're going to start with statements from the public other than the presenters. So I want to just check if there's anyone here that would like to make a public statement other than the presenters. And in Hilo, are there any public testifiers?
Hilo, we have no testifiers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Waimea?
Good afternoon, Chair. We do not have any testifiers for your committee.
Okay, and North Kohala?
Good afternoon, Chair. We have no testifiers for your committee.
Okay, and Kau?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. We have no testifiers for your committee this afternoon.
Okay, and so hearing none, I'm now going to call statements from the public on agenda items is now closed. So, Madam Clerk, if you would read in Communication 1079.
Communication 1079 requests a presentation and discussion by the Executive Director of the Food Basket, Inc. on Ho'olaha Kahua, the new fresh produce program, from Councilmember Margaret Woolley, dated September 25, 2014.
Okay, and with the indulgence of the council, I'm going to remain the chair on this, even though it's my item. I see Ms. Brenda Ford shaking her head.
I'd like to make a motion to...
a motion to...
File Communication 1079.
Thank you. And all in favor? No, we don't have to do that? No. Okay. Today I have before us representatives of the Food Basket, and Young is the head, and to talk about the new program he has for distribution of fresh produce from the farm, working with the farmers, to anyone and everyone that wishes to participate. And just to clarify, this is really important to me. I'm working on a number of initiatives that will address sort of how to move us forward on sustainability on our island in terms of agriculture. So I would like to introduce Mr. Young, if you would introduce yourself and also your companion here.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is N. Young. I'm the Executive Director of the Food Basket, Hawaii Islands Food Bank.
And I'm Kristen Frost Albrecht, and I'm the Director of PR and Events at the Food Basket.
Thank you.
She's also a great subject matter expert as well, who I may be deferring to from time to time. Thank you guys for your indulgence and, the time to come and kind of keep you guys abreast of what we're doing. We're here not only today to let you know kind of what's been going on. We've been doing this for a few weeks now, so I think we've got a pretty good handle on, the effects on the community and some of the feedback we're getting. And I know that for you folks, you guys also have initiatives in your own districts. And, I'd like to also hear, there'll be I'll keep it short. So there should be time for questions, and during that time, I'd like to hear maybe some of your folks' initiatives or ways in which you folks also feel that we can improve or possibly expand the service. So, with that, we'll dive right in. Again, we're from the Food Basket, and we're calling this project Ho'olaha Kahua. Ho'olaha is to distribute or to divide. It doesn't pertain only to fruit. It pertains to stuff like fish, where you're distributing, let's say, for example, if you had hukilau or something and you bring in a bunch of fish, what you do when you distribute that among the community is you ho'olaha. So it's not only propagation. Ho'olaha is also to cut roots and to start new plants. That's also ho'olaha. So it has a lot of meaning that works in a lot of different ways, and we thought it would be a very appropriate name for this program. So just to kind of go over what we're going to go over, that's a beautiful picture of our warehouse in the back. We got some recent data for you. We just did our Hunger in America survey, which is done every 3 years, and we've got some brand new stuff that we'll also be putting up on our website. So I'm not going to bore you with all the stats. I mean, it's like 15 pages worth of different stuff that pertains to Hawaii County specifically. So if you guys are also looking for statistics to maybe guide your decisions, we do have some fresh data from our population that is going to be totally public, and we'd like to share with all of you. We're going to go over a little bit about the background of the program. We're going to talk about our SNAP CSA extension, which is the first kind of leg of Ho'olaha Kahua. We're going to talk a little bit more generally about community food hubbing, and we also want to talk about where we want to end up in the future. So, as I said earlier, we just finished the Hunger in America study that was done last year, so it comes out the year after. The survey is taken every 3 years for us and food banks nationwide. It assists us in our needs assessment. It assists us in our program prioritization. It has a little bit of program evaluation component, so we can see, year over year, or I guess every 3 years, over every 3 years, how we've been doing on the metrics we've been trying to improve. And it, of course, provides key demographics and other characteristics about the population we're serving. So, who are we serving? Well, from last time to this time, and I apologize, I probably should have put last time's data in, we can see that our senior population was probably the biggest population we were serving in the last 3-year period. As you can see, it has shifted to the biggest piece of the pie, being 30 to 49-year-olds, which is primarily working families. We've shifted a bit away from single folks and gone a little bit more towards families. Another disturbing kind of piece of the pie, as far as our data is concerned, is that there is an uptick in servicing children. 2 pieces of the pie, that light blue and that orange, are kids 0 through 17. So that's something that moving forward we'll be paying a little bit more attention to. Our senior population is always near and dear to our heart, and we know we'll be serving some of them for years to come. So we're not going to lose focus as far as our senior programs are concerned, and we do have well-established senior programs, some of which were handed off by the county. But in addition to that, as far as us moving forward, we do need to try and also focus on working families, which is now the biggest segment of our service population. So, the numbers change every once in a while, and this is what they're telling us now. About 15% of families are facing food insecurity. That's actually down. It's down from around 20%, and the definition we're using for food insecurity, it means they do not always know where they'll get their next meal. Children Currently, 1 in 5 children live in a food insecure household. That's actually also down from 1 in 4. So that may have something to do with economic recovery. It may have something to do with us keeping better data, but that's actually down as well. One of the more telling statistics, this has been probably the statistic that's shocked the most people as of late. Although we have about 14% of the population, Hawaii County residents make up 33% of the SNAP-eligible population in the state. So 1/3 of SNAP-eligible folks live on the Big Island in the state. So, moving forward, and thinking about the way we put together our programs, I think we've gone from sort of a service paradigm where it's kind of do what we can to get a little bit more sophisticated and emphasize more the way we're serving people. What is the quality of service that we're providing? And, to do that, we'd like to try and increase access to healthy foods, both for because it's the right thing to do, but also because of, self-preservation. I mean, just to be honest about it, we do get a lot of criticism that we only distribute canned foods, and that's a valid, it's a very valid point that traditional food banking has focused on non-perishable foods. Myself being from a rural area, we have prioritized service for what the transportation folks call the lose money routes, which is rural Hawaii County, where you don't serve that many people and you've got to drive a long distance. So we've picked up our service in Na'alehu, Pahala, we're out in Hawi, Kapa'au, all those areas, to try and at least get a start in getting social services out to those areas. And, for us, equality oftentimes means equality of choice. Maybe a spectrum of people are not going to get the same thing, but at least they have the choice to access those things, and then from there we can work on people's personal choices. Interestingly enough, from this last survey, if you look at this chart on the right, obstacles to distribution of healthier foods, by far the highest ranking response is the inability to obtain, and that's the inability to obtain healthier foods. So, what does that tell us? That means that healthier foods are just not available for some people. As you can see, a small portion say it's not a priority for them. I think people are very aware of needing to eat healthier, and I think that speaks to that third category, is lack of knowledge an obstacle to distribution or at least acceptance of healthier foods. And as you can see in that category, we had 0 respondents. So that probably means two things. One, we got to give some kudos to Department of Health and other folks, maybe even you folks who have tried to increase the general knowledge of why we should be eating healthy. Obviously, it sounds like those kinds of programs are working. So we were actually glad to see that lack of knowledge was not a barrier to healthier foods. Some of which I've discussed with some of you before, is the inability to store healthy foods. Healthy foods often are perishable. And, for us, we're a warehouse. We got one in Hilo, we got one in Kona. And all points in between need to also be able to store healthy foods. A lot of them, fresh fruits and vegetables, are perishable. So, we've been very fortunate to work with some of you in putting in infrastructure, little nodes here and there. Also, the Waimea Refrigerator Co-op, they've stored some stuff for us as well. So there are options out there, and we're exploring those as well. The second biggest category that's an obstacle to healthier foods is that they're too expensive. I think we can all probably say that everything is too expensive, especially on the Big Island. You look at electricity, housing, and all those things. But food is definitely up there. I mean, people can give up their electricity. You know, they can live up on the street, but they can't stop eating. So, you know, I felt it really behooved us to work on that issue specifically as well, and I'm glad that the data bore that out this time. And then, you know, some of the other things are just generic client reasons. You know, some of the clients report allergies or other things that they believe are barriers. And we can go into that, but I don't think it's useful for this particular conversation. Okay, so with that, we had to move on, kind of figure out a program that's going to be responsive to our needs as well as responsive to the needs of the community. Of course, any nonprofit, we're looking at self-sustainability. I mean, we need to try and be an agency that can take care of ourselves before we're really able to take care of other people. Part of our mission is working on the root causes of hunger, and basically that is poverty. I mean, it's poverty up and down. Part of it is also access, especially in the rural areas. We want to be measurable and accountable. You know, we want to provide a program that, or programs, I should say, that have clear measurables, that we can see the success from year to year. We want to innovate and challenge. I've heard that sometimes it's difficult to get things done in government, and you know, for a lot of the things we do, they're not as profitable where they're going to be picked up by the private sector. So really, the only sector that can pick those things up, you know, is the nonprofit sector. And you guys may have heard this before, but a lot of us nonprofits, we look at the triple bottom line. You know, is it economically viable? Is it socially just? You know, does it make sense financially for our bottom line? And then some of the things we wanted to do for the community is definitely assist the farmers. I'll just let you guys know that you know, compared to other food banks on other islands, we get a large amount of donations from our local farmers, and the more we can help them, the better it is for us in the long run to maintain that relationship and be able to gather the B's and C's, you know, the off grades, and make sure we make use of all the food we have on this island. As I said earlier, you know, we want to increase access to healthy local foods. Generally, we want to increase consumption of vegetables, and we hope that will lead to improved health indicators. As a lot of you know, Native Hawaiian populations, you know, we're kind of off the charts as far as negative health indicators go, and we believe that, you know, at least offering an alternative diet and making it not only affordable but accessible may not force anybody to change their diet, but at least give them an option that's on parity with the kind of foods they're eating now. And then maybe one day, we hope it'll improve cultural relations as well. You know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, you can often understand other cultures through their food. And, you know, for us to be able to serve the public and, you know, mix it up for them, you know, have them eat something they've never eaten before, or have them try and taste something they've never tasted before, or even just learn a little bit about the fruits and vegetables or foods of in other culture, oftentimes goes a long way to us understanding each other. So, what we came up with was basically ho'olaha kahua. We are striving towards becoming a food hub, and we'll talk about what that means later. This is a little graphic here that shows one particular institution's you know, feeling about what the key components of the food system are. So you know, from the very beginning, the production all the way down to waste, the food basket is involved at some point, other than, I would say, maybe consumption. So the first leg, I would say, of our Ho'olaha Kahua project, where we do want to eventually become this food hub, is our SNAP CSA extension. Now, one of our most popular programs is our senior produce program, and that was actually handed off by the county. And what it is we get 1,500 seniors, about 8 to 12 pounds of produce a week for 15 weeks. All of that is subsidized by the USDA. So a CSA is basically a food subscription. It's a share in a wholesale purchase of, in terms of the state, this state is one of the worst as far as SNAP utilization is concerned. I'm going to say we're in the mid-40s. And what does that mean for us? That means we leave over $150 million on the table in unutilized SNAP benefits. Now, there's a number of reasons for that that we know of, and I'm sure there are lots more. Part of it being people are prideful in Hawaii. You know, people don't always want to say or feel like they're on the dole of some kind, or you know, they don't want to face their family and say, well, you know, I'm getting food stamps. You know, other than that, food stamps is also on a sliding scale. So it may be that you know, people towards the upper end of the income bracket may only get $20 to $25 a month. Some of them as little as $10 to $15 is what we hear. So, I mean, how do we alleviate that? How do we make it worthwhile for people to sign up for SNAP and go through the hassle of signing up for the benefit and get these dollars into the economy? Well, for us, we also want to come up with a product that you know, is in an increment that actually makes sense for people who don't get a lot of SNAP. So right now our SNAP CSA extension is priced at $10, and what we're able to do is we source this from all local farmers. We pay $10 for the produce in the box, and because we're low income focused, we pass on the wholesale savings of $10. So we make absolutely zero money off of the SNAP folks. Now, is this sustainable? Of course not. You know, even at a break even of $10, we still got to pay for the gas. We still got to pay for the drivers. You know, we got to still pay for me coming to speak to you folks. So, you know, we do need other components that are going to keep this sustainable. And what we've done is, you know, from the economic development standpoint, is also try and increase market share for farmers and grow the pie for everybody by also doing a retail offering. So for folks like you and I, we can pick up a box at $16, and it's 8 to 12 pounds of all local produce that we're sourcing basically island-wide. It supports local farmers, it supports rural areas, and it converts federal dollars. So that's kind of, again, that's kind of our first foray into becoming a food hub. For us, you know, we're a food distributor. You know, we're lucky enough to be able to source from the community, but even then, you know, when Waimea has a food drive, when Kohala has a food drive, when Ka'u has a food drive, when Pahoa has a food drive, we have to drive all over the place and pick all this food up. And, you know, a lot of this, because food drives are very successful at 500 pounds, but even at 500 pounds, it only fills, you know, the northwest corner of our large box truck. We're looking at ways to be as savvy as other transportation providers and really provide full truckload service. That's what's going to make our services efficient. And you know, filling the truck is really a matter of sourcing more food. So, with that being said, since we're driving around the island anyway, especially for this program, you know, we're able to offer that service as well to farmers, and then consolidate, cut pallets, repack, put together a nice box and drive it back out, and make sure that produce from all around the island gets to be enjoyed by folks all around the island, and we're doing it at a better price. As far as indirect services go, again, like I was saying, we're providing additional market share for farmers. Now, there are a number of different markets that we're looking at maybe competing in, maybe not. We do also want to support our local businesses, transportation businesses that do also support us. So if the need does arise, we may enter some of these markets. And one of them, most conspicuously, has been programs like Farm to School. Now, Farm to School, some of the headaches involved with that is that oftentimes the DOE staff don't have time to aggregate produce and or any food order for that matter, and oftentimes the kitchen workers don't have time to do all the prep work, to cut up all the produce, to bag it, and to get it in a form where it's convenient for them to put it out in a school lunch. So what does that mean? For us, we believe there's an opportunity there. If we're sourcing from local farmers anyway, if we can get local produce into the schools, and the only hiccup really is somebody's got to wash it, chop it, and bag it, and somebody's got to drive it over there, well, we're poised very well to do just that. Now, are we doing it currently? No, we're not. It's also something we're looking at as a food hub. Now, if you expand upon that idea, not only are there schools out there that are institutions, there's hospitals. There's certain work sites that may have cafeterias. Maybe hotels, those kinds of places. And we know at some point, if I guess I should say the action gets hot enough, in the market, that other transportation providers will come in. But at the very least, we are poised in a position where we can do it at the smaller level until it becomes profitable enough for business to take over. Some of the other things we may be doing with community food hubbing, processing. I'm sure a lot of you folks have talked to farmers already, and there is a notorious lack of value-added capacity. What do we do with all these off-grade bruised tomatoes? What do we do with I'm thinking of my uncle, with all these guys in Panaeva who put up, these acres and acres of guavas, and then the juice place, goes out of business, and all of a sudden they got these acres of guavas. What can we do with the stuff that's already here? Now, the food basket, we are currently certified by the Department of Health as a grocery store. Well, at the same level as a grocery store. It would be a lot easier for an agency like us than somebody starting from scratch to be able to start to provide value-added capacity for farmers to source things like steam kettles or juicers, packing machinery, and actually maintain that at a level where it'll actually make a difference for literally tons of food that gets plowed under by farmers. And because we do have a handle and good relationships with other nonprofits who serve meals, let's take Meals on Wheels, for example. Wouldn't it be nice if...
I want to make sure there's a little time here for questions, and we're moving on, so I want you to somehow, pull this together.
Okay.
And maybe let your companion, if she had a particular point to mention.
Okay. Well, I mean, you saw the diagram earlier about how there's a number of different parts to community food hubbing: distribution, production, processing, reusing, disposal, consumption. I'll leave the consumption to you guys. But we've got ideas that can touch upon any one of these things, and I think what I wanted to ask. What I wanted to really make a point about is that we got a lot more things coming. The SNAP CSA has been pretty successful so far. How many do we have in Ocean View today?
About 25.
Okay, so we got around 25 at Ocean View. I think that's a pretty good start for just being a couple weeks in business. Again, we don't want to get in the way of local business or anything like that. What we want to do is incubate local business, and then as that bottom part says, we'd like to bow out gracefully, which is basically, set up the infrastructure for private business to do its thing, and let us be the food bank. Other than that, I mean, I think that's it. Any questions?
Steve, would you like to make a comment?
I'll just be back up here for N. Do you have questions?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Young. Is there anything we can do as a council to contribute to the program?
Well, I'm proud to say that you guys have given us a little bit of capital to start. I'd like you to know that your money is very heavily leveraged. County GIA of $20,000 is helping us kind of capitalize this grant. But in addition to that, we've gotten $30,000 from Kaiser. We've gotten $50,000 from an organization called the Wallace Center, and we just received word that we received a 2-year USDA grant in the amount of $170,000. So we do have. I mean, I'm going to say you guys are doing things already. Councilwoman Ford, may I mention? Okay, so what I was saying earlier about some of you have helped us expand our fresh food holding points. Councilwoman Ford has very generously used some of her funds to put refrigeration capacity in Naalehu and Pahala, and that's helping us kind of hold product, when people don't show up, or if they're running late or something like that, and it's been a big help so far.
And you can continue to work with us with the county grant and aid program in the future, but and also as individuals, if there's something in our particular districts that you can make us aware of that we can also contribute to, I'm sure most of us would be interested.
And I think for all of you guys, I'm sure having healthy residents is a big priority for everybody in every district. So for us as well, we'd like to work with service providers in your areas. A lot of them do have food components. Anybody who does after-school programs or snacks or anything like that. I mean, really, we are willing to work with those nonprofits or social service agencies or even county agencies that do provide meals, and if they do so primarily to low-income individuals, we're willing to kind of cut them the deal that we're cutting the SNAP folks now, which is basically wholesale price.
Councilmember Ilgan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Young, I have 3 points I just wanted to ask. One is, did you mention how much federal funds you were actually receiving?
I didn't. So with the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, we receive a little over $250,000, and that's for 1,500 seniors for 15 weeks. So basically, if we double the program and make it year-round, we'll be running about $1.2 million a year in local food purchases.
Nice. The second one is, we were talking about the triple bottom line that you had. And there's the economic, social, and financial. This is just my input and my opinion. I'll let you, as the professional, decide what you would do. But
I'm making it up as I go along.
it's just funny that you mentioned cultural, because I thought that the economic and financial is very similar in the sense that you probably could take out one and then add in cultural as one of your triple bottom line. But that was just a suggestion. How you use the information is up to you. The third part is, I just want to say, do you know where the seniors in Pahoa, they used to have they used to be getting fresh produce, and how is that going now that it has taken over as a fire station?
That's a good point, Councilman. And unfortunately, we were kind of booted from Pahoa Community Center. And no offense to Civil Defense, because we're working with them very closely too on the situation that's unfolding now. We had to move the seniors back to KL because we weren't able to find a facility close to Pahoa that we could guarantee was going to be either on one side or another side when the lava comes through, if the lava comes through. We do have a couple of the other agencies. Hope I don't get this wrong. I think it's Neighborhood Place, but that is helping us drive it from KL back out to Hawaiian Beaches, Nanavale, and those areas that Pahoa used to serve. And we're also welcome to suggestions if you guys have, even trustworthy community leaders that can help us work our way back into the area.
I have several, but I just wanted to know if these entities have been reached out to, and if you are interested in reaching out to them, I'll definitely help out with that. But has the Makuu Farmers Market been reached out to as a potential site, or?
Not as a site as yet. Yeah, not as a site as yet. And we didn't want to, we're trying not to be competitive. We didn't want to dilute kind of their farmers market branding that they've put so much effort into building over the years.
Because that's ideally kind of very, very central, and I think that would be a very good site. But I'll talk to Auntie Paula, see what she thinks. But I'll reach out to you and see if we can get a closer site than just KL and see what they have to say. But I just want to say thank you for your presentation. And I was reading your mission statement, and I like the fact that it's not only you're feeding the hungry, but you're trying to solve the social problems, especially hitting the root of that issue. And without stopping that, it's just an endless, constant feed. So I'm glad you're trying to really solve the problem rather than just trying to sustain. I don't know the best way to say it, but you're trying to take it out. So thank you.
I'm sure you've heard it before, but nonprofits often say our goal is to put ourselves out of business, and we mean that.
And I have one question. How many people are right now in your retail program that you just started up? The non-SNAP, you pay $100 a month, and you get, is that right?
For 10 weeks.
For 10 weeks, yes. $16 a week is how it is.
How much is it?
$16 a week. And we were doing 10-week increments.
And you get 10 pounds.
About there.
About 8 to 10 pounds. And how many are you looking? What is your goal? What is the doable number?
As far as capacity goes,
yes,
our doable number is probably about 6,000.
Okay. So that's what we can do, get those other, that number of people. And it's not just getting the people to consume, it's also the farmers. I mean, that's what I went to a meeting with and farmers, and they were very glad to hear, and we will pay you equal or more than what you could sell in your produce in the local market. So So I did want to mention how this fits in with tomorrow. I have Resolution 550, promoting agricultural sustainability by naming November as Buy Hawaii Island Produce Month. So I think just focus on, all you have to do is join your program. So I didn't hear what the phone number is and how one easily contacts you. And so I just want to make sure to get that out there. So your contact is?
Well, I didn't want to seem like I was selling something.
You are. So.
Our phone number, we're running the list out of Hilo because most of our farmers right now are on that side. And our number is 808-933-6030 and 933-6030.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and we're running short on time, so I'm just going to move along, and yeah.
We have flyers as well.
Okay, you want to hand those out, and we'll do that. Yeah, if you bring them over to Miley. So, can I have a motion? All right, we do a motion. Yeah, yeah. All those in favor of filing Communication 1079? Aye?
Aye.
None of, okay, opposed? Okay,
Madam Chair, move to adjourn.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor of adjournment? Aye. Okay, opposed. Adjourned.